this race. Both of these competitors had some trouble through the practice as well. We'll see if they were able to right the wrongs, right the ships, and come out here and take the win.
So fans, what you're looking for here is in the Pro Tree, you can see Thunder Roars has both lights lit. That's what you call a pre-stage and a stage. Cole Bernard is battling this. The pre-stage is lighting, the stage is not. So it's not going to allow the green to drop down the Pro Tree. So the tech officials are going to go over, clean it up a little bit, make sure that the laser beam is going across and try it again.
Now Morgan, can that be an issue with the weather? Maybe some mud on there, something blocking the reflector?
Yeah, it's always possible, you know, because when you're coming out of the starting gate, the truck could be fishtailing, there could be some dirt that flies up on the reflector. That's what that tech official is doing, is trying to make sure that it's recentering. We want to make sure that the laser beam goes all the way across and touches, because as the tires of the monster truck break the beam, it lights the light.
And of course, we've seen in World Finals past, even as recent as last year, where that red light can really play a factor, and it results in an automatic disqualification. So you want to make sure the Pro Tree is working 100% optimally.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think the Pro Tree is a huge advantage here at the World Finals because you can have reaction times faster than your opponent. And I think that when you go to the traditional red, green light like we would see in stadiums and arenas, it's just straight green. So you can actually, what they call, cut a light. So as it drops the tree, when it lights yellow, I've always been told, go on yellow, because by the time it transfers through the gas pedal to the engine and everything loads up and takes off, you're going to have a good green light, and that reaction time could matter at the finish line.
I think also too, red lighting or having an issue like Ryan Disharoon and Shaker happened here with his run too. Those are things that are going to haunt you probably the rest of your entire life here. So that is something that they want to make sure that doesn't happen, is the red lighting or even the issues that we saw with Shaker.
Also, you know, when we consider what's going on with these Monster Jam trucks, obviously the situation with Ryan Disharoon is the worst case scenario. Tyler Menny done the same, but when you look at Cole Bernard and the Black Pearl, he had so many issues through practice, through qualifying, had to switch trucks, and now here it is. It seems like Cole Bernard's weekend cannot get started.
Well, it's funny because we were actually talking in the elevator the other day, and he was like, man, I got a curse on me. I don't know what's going on. Man, shake it. Well, he's shaking it with the truck now, and now we're having issues with the Pro Tree. So unfortunate, but I know that we'll get this going here shortly.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I've been given some information. We are going to switch to the standard stadium racing.
He was able to gather his thoughts, get through that straightaway, and on the final turn, he was able to keep it nice and tight, which is exactly what you want here at the World Finals.
The nerves were not pressuring him at all as he moves on with a time of 21.390.
Our next pair in the starting gate up first, in the red lane, Lindsay Reed, Scooby-Doo. Hurricane Racing out of the blue lane, Todd LeDuc, Megalodon. Todd LeDuc, of course, won racing competition win here at World Finals, one championship under his belt 3 times. He has been the fastest qualifier. There's a look at the standard stadium
was starting at the gate. Tom LeDuc had to really fight the truck. It was starting to fishtail all over the place. So that blue lane and that starting gate is something to keep your eye on, fans.
He clocks in a time of 21.412, and that will put him into the next round.
Addy, look at me. Addy.
Fans, if you take a look over at the starting gate, you will notice that the red lane is full, and if you look at the giant screen above it, you will see the 120-second clock, and now there they are split, picture in picture. That clock is for Tom Meents and Max D. We talked about how he's been battling gremlins all weekend long into today, and now it is official. He cannot wait much longer than just over 1 minute. He's got to have that truck fired. He does not have to be, Morgan, at the starting line when these 85 seconds and counting expire, but he does have to have his truck fired, and that needs to get relayed.
There's nothing worse than having to sit there as a driver and know that you can't do anything about it, but you have all the trust in your crew. You have all the trust in the technicians that you travel the road with, and that's why we put this clock up. We want to give them that chance to give you the best show value possible to get Tom Meents and Max D out here to the starting line.
And of course, now we're just under 1 minute, but on the flip side of things, look, this is not how you want to do it. You want to come out and win, but what an advantage this could be for Kristen Anderson to move on. Maybe that's the kind of momentum you need.
The clock's not over yet, but for Kristen Anderson, she is in a great position right now because she essentially, with having a bypass, you want to make sure that you are nice and easy on this turns. The turns is where everything is won and lost, and you're seeing it in this first round. Everyone's going so deep because they're braking way too late, and it's just pushing the truck really far in the corner. Make sure that you're nice, tight, easy, composed, and just get across the finish line nice and smooth.
We're under 20 seconds right now. I'm talking to these drivers.
Breaking news, Kate. Breaking news, I'm sorry about that. Max D has fired in the pits. So, you can tell from the eruption of the fans, I'm so sorry to cut you off, but Max D fired, but I think it was about 7 seconds. We get the opportunity to renew and relive the greatest rivalry in motorsports. This one with a little bit of a different flair. We have student versus teacher lined up. Of course, Kristen Anderson's father, the legendary Dennis Anderson, has gone toe-to-toe so many times with Tom Meents. And of course, Tom Meents celebrating 20 years of maximum destruction. He is looking to capture World Finals Championship number 15 on the year. He is pulled to the starting gate, and it looks like he may get the opportunity to see this race after all. We are officially back to the pro train, ladies and gentlemen. So, coming out of the red lane, Kristen Anderson, Gravedigger. And racing out of the blue lane, Tom Meents.
Five-second penalty on Max D's Tom Meents. Keep your video for the original Super Blue Blue to the action replay. What would that 5-second penalty bring? Moving on. Still with a time. Excuse me. With a time of 23.402. Christian Anderson. Gravedigger.
Let's take a look up at the video board. There's the original Super Glue Blue to the action replay, and right there is where it went wrong for Tom Mintz and Max D, failing to get both front tires up the race ramp as he crossed the finish line.
That's right, and Morgan, you know, you and I were talking about that, about having that track awareness, making sure you get to the right race lane.
I think the biggest thing that you have to focus on is with the race lanes, your front two tires must go all the way up the race lane. If they do not, which is what you saw there with Tom, his right tires just dipped off for the race lane, and that is what gave him the 5-second penalty.
Just a flip.
I mean, when I look at this bracket, this racing bracket heading into round 2, this is like a March Madness bracket buster. I cannot believe what I'm looking at here. Now, look, there's no guarantee that Armando Castro would come out and beat the legend Jim Kohler, right? But that's what happens. We see the opposite. Jim Kohler doesn't even have to race. Then we see Tyler Menninga not able to compete. And so Cynthia Gauthier moves on. Then we just watch what we watch. I cannot believe it.
There's so many different moving parts here, and like you said, with our March Madness brackets, that's how mine looked. I mean, it was all scrambled all over the place. But there's still more racing to come. It's going to be great action because this track is shaping up well. All the drivers are seeing that, hey, I need to brake early, stay tight on the corners, because if not, you'll see the 5-second penalties and you'll see mistakes being made.
Okay, what that means is that we are going to see some pairs that maybe when this bracket was made last night after qualifying, we did not think that we were going to see in round number 2.
Definitely not. I think one of my big surprises right now, I'm looking here right now, is looking at Kristen Anderson and Gravedigger being going into round 2 to battle it out with John Gordon and Bad Company. Also, no surprise though, Cody Sosi and Dragon going up against Brandon Benson and Gravedigger Red.
I mean, that's a matchup that I've had circled.
Yes.
I thought that that was going to be something we might see, and those are two of pound for pound the best racers in the sport, Morgan, when you talk about Cody Saucier and the defending and reigning racing world champion Brandon Benson.
Well, Brandon's in a great position right now because he has already ran a pass on this track. He knows what it feels like. Cody is just sitting there. He hasn't had a chance to run on. The only time the truck has touched the ground is that he did the intro pass. And you're not able to get any speed up. You can test it and feel it. But Brandon has a major advantage coming in here because he's already ran a pass down the track.
Well, I know it's been insane on this bracket, but I know it's more crazy back there in the pits, and we're going to join KCG. What's going on in the back?
I wanted to give you guys an update after round 1. A tough break for Armando Castro and El Toro Loco and Tyler Menninga and Gravedigger. Both of those trucks are in the back. They're in the pits. They're doing a full transmission swap. Both of those drivers were in the race with skills challenging because out there on the track, came back to that competition after the race. Trying to get some traction. They were trying to get some traction out there on the track. There's a lot of pressure on the transmission, so they're ended up doing a swap on the track.
he's trying to get that racing win. So let's see if that works in his favor here tonight.
I think it's definitely something for all these fans to keep an eye on. I know they like to see that zombie intact. Don't worry, you can still do the zombie arms out in the stands for sure. Bakari Musauer really thinking a couple steps ahead. Morgan, as we get ready to go away with round 2, here come our pairs approaching the starting gate because the way things went in round number 1, we are going to get our first look at each of them. Up first, in the red lane, your fastest qualifier from last night, Captain Murphy, Bakugan Dragonoid. He'll be taking on Mr. Excitement, Mr. World Finals, Jim Kohler, Avenger. Captain Murphy, despite being the fastest qualifier, told me earlier he still feels that he has a lot to prove. He really wants to win this Monster Jam racing competition and win that championship. But it's all going to start with this race. Let's go green!
Some great racing there by these two as we take a look at their replay into that finish.
In the replay, you got to make sure that you're keeping an eye on how deep these drivers are going into the corner. That final corner is where it's being won and lost right now, and everyone that's been in the blue lane keeps going way too deep. You got to brake early, stay in the throttle, and feather the brake to be able to keep it super tight for a fast time.
A 21.312 is clocked in there for Bakugan Dragonoid and Captain Murphy.
Next pair is at the starting gate in the red lane, Adam Anderson, Gravedigger.
They do.
His opponent in the blue lane, Bakari Musauer, Zombie. Bakari Musauer is for the fastest time of round 1, standing his way from moving on, the 3-time racing world champion. Let's go! Racing out of the red lane, Corey Rummel, Megalodon. Advancing from round one, racing out of the blue lane, Weston Anderson, Gravedigger. Each one of these competitors. We just witnessed the closest race of the night. Things are starting to heat up. Coming out of the red lane, Cody Societe Dragon. Racing out of the blue lane, your reigning racing champion, Brandon Vincent, Gravedigger. These two know each other so well off the track. Their track record speaks for itself. As they
Brandon Vincent and Gravedigger. That last lap, Courtney, you saw it right there.
That was a close race, and it's unfortunate when you think about like 5-second penalties. Associate, 5-second penalties. Those front tires did not cross the race lane, even though it wasn't on the left side, it was on the right side. You have to drive the front two tires all the way up the race lane and lead to be able to have a clean pass.
21.527 is clocked in for Gravedigger's Brandon Vincent.
at the starting gate in the red lane, John Gordon, Big Company. His opponent in the blue lane, Kristen Anderson, Gravedigger. Kristen Anderson advanced with a little help for that 5-second penalty, but you will take the win when you take down Tom Metz and Matt Speed. Let's see. matchup of round 2. Up first in the red lane, Tristan England, Earthshaker. His opponent in the blue lane, Todd Ledoux, Megalodon Neo.
That was the best turn that I've seen from Tristan Hinckley all weekend. That was spectacular. When he came around the corner,
That's the best turn. There's a lot of bucks there.
Guys, all I can say is wow in this racing competition. And Morgan, when I look at the bracket now, I know I said the bracket was busted before. I got one name circled, and that is Brandon Vincent of Gravedigger, because he is the last person left in the bracket who has been a racing world champion before, which means likely we may see a first-time winner here.
well, I don't want you to ever discount the man that he's going up against. Because John Gordon in bad company, if he stays on his game, he is a driver that can perform at a top level every single event. And someone like him, don't sleep on John Gordon. He will come back and get you. So Brandon, you better be on your A game.
Listen, I'm looking forward to the first head-to-head matchup will be Bakugan Dragonoid going up against Zombie. Not only are they friends off of the track, but they love battling each other on racing. So that's the head-to-head matchup I'm looking forward to.
I have one that I'm looking forward to,
Okay.
and it's up on the screen. You think about Bryce Kinney, Great Clips, Mohawk Warrior, Corey Rummel, Megalodon. The smoothest corner I think I've seen all season from Corey. He backed the truck in, and that is what got him the edge. Hopefully, Bryce can keep his cool because Corey's going to come out swinging.
Look, when I look at this, I just see the thing that jumps out to me is the fact that Brandon Vincent is the last remaining racing world champion in the bracket. So I'm not taking anything away from him. I don't want to discredit. He has every opportunity to repeat, but the odds of us seeing somebody walk away with a trophy for the first time are pretty high right now, and that is pretty exciting for these Nashville fans.
Check, check, check. Yes, my microphone is working, ladies and gentlemen, and I am here. Thank you. Yeah. I am here with Alex. Alex, thank you so much for being patient with us here at Monster Jam. Now, Alex, where are you from?
Columbus, Ohio.
Columbus, Ohio. That is sort of a long ways away. Now, did you drive down here? You actually drove behind the truck, right? Wait. You drove down here in your own car? You did? Okay, wow. That's a young age to have your driver's license. Now, earlier before Monster Jam Racing started, what do you think about that fun? Good? All right, how about this? You're going to go home with a Thunder Rover 26 What do you think about Monster Jam World Finals so far? It's phenomenal. Claire, come on down.
7 out of 10.
Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. The Thunder Awards drop. It comes with exclusive Thunder Awards truck and bag. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, the Monster Jam Pt3 Racing quarterfinal rounds. The fastest have now advanced and will race head-to-head to the finishing line to get to the semi-final round. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for more Monster Jam racing?
This place looks sold out.
It was.
Before we get underway, Monster Jam fans, I got a question. Who here in the house tonight thinks your winner will be Bakugan Dragonoid? Make some noise! And now, who's rooting for Zombie? Let me hear you! Maybe a little bit more in favor of the Zombie Monster Jam truck. We are about to find out. There can be only one winner. Who will it be?
Another amazing race, and moving on, Cameron Murphy, Bakugan Dragonoid.
Okay, we just witnessed history right here, right now. That was the 500th race in Monster Jam World Finals history, and you were all here to see it.
And that's right, Cameron Murphy and Bakugan Dragonoid will advance on with a time of 20.698.
I've got the same question for everybody here at Nissan Stadium tonight. Who thinks your winner will be Franklin's Mohawk Warrior? And now who's
Smooth and committed. Corey Rommel has hit rear steer and already has the truck facing the other way back into the turn. Second pass in a row. Unfortunate break for Bryce King. And this is something that he has been looking forward to. Being able to go out. He wanted to at least cross the finish line or end up rolling. He never went in like this with a mechanical failure.
Definitely not, and Corey Rommel and Megalodon will advance on to see Cameron Murphy and Bakugan Dragonoid. One of the hottest stories on the track right now is that Colt Bernard and the Black Girl has advanced to round 3. But the catch is, he's not in his own truck. Throughout the entire season, he's been battling electrical issues. There's been some kind of gremlin in that truck that they cannot pinpoint. They have changed everything out, inside and out, on that truck, with the exception of completely tearing it apart and rebuilding it. He is actually in his teammates, in his partners, Jamie Gardner's truck, running out here in the competition. We've got Jamie Gardner over here. Jamie, I watched your reaction as you celebrated as Cole crossed the finish line. Talk to us about that.
You know it's awesome to see my truck out here making these rounds of racing with my best friend and my partner right there in that truck. Nothing makes me feel better.
Can you tell me, it's so different being in a truck that is not yours. The weight balance is different, the distribution is different. It's a really big deal.
You know, we build our trucks as close as you can, and they ain't close at all. You know, my steering's stiff compared to his. My rear steer is extremely slow. For him to make 3 rounds already going into number 4, this is unbelievable.
Amy, thank you so much. We're excited to see the Black Girl once again taking the track.
You know what time it is, ladies and gentlemen. Who thinks the winner is going to be Brandon Vincent Rain Digger? And now we are in Nissan Stadium is rooting for John Gordon Penn Company. Sounds like we have a lot in favor of a repeat. Let's find out.
Drifting there on that last turn.
Okay, with that win by John Gordon and Bad Company, that means that we will see a new first-time racing world champion here tonight.
He was locking a time there, crossing the finish line with 21.108. And advancing on is Bad Company's John Gordon.
I want to ask you one more time, Nashville, who thinks your winner will be Tristan England Earthshaker. And now, who here is cheering for Cole Bernard, the Black Pearl? A lot of people seem to be rallying behind the Black Pearl. Cole Bernard, a huge fan favorite. And of course, he's dealt with so much adversity as we look on. And we see Christmas tree, the Pt3, there for everybody in the stadium. You're looking at what the drivers see. We are seconds away. Let's go green!
To move on.
It seems like in the blink of an eye, we are down to our final four. We've got Captain Murphy, Bakugan Dragonoid, who not only was the fastest qualifier, but has had the fastest time of the night. He will be taking on Corey Rummel in Megalodon, and on the other side of the bracket, we have Earthshaker taking on Bad Company. What do you think?
I think the one thing that I'm watching is that start line up there. I think that that's going to be the key. If you take an eye off of the blue line, the blue lane is every time somebody takes off their fishtailing all the way down. Now, they've been committing to the throttle, but if it gets any worse and they start digging away, you might have to lift, and that might be the factor of winning the race or losing.
I'm getting some word right now. There's a dry sack shaft issue there with Bad Company. I'm going to go down and see. This could be a big turn of events.
You absolutely have to, and that's the beauty of having two people who have worked so extensively in the pits, Morgan. I mean, this is all happening in real time. Kay Young going down there to check on the status of Bad Company, and John Gordon, we're seeing it on the video board right now, says it's probably a drive shaft issue. So Morgan, what can you tell us about this potential fix time?
Well, I picked this out right before we had the official call, because when we were watching John, he finished the race, he made his way up to the tunnel, gripped on the throttle once, and the only tires that were spinning were the front. So with that, if you think driveline issue, this is a quick and easy fix if you have the right people there, the right tools, and you're asking them to do the best job that they can, but you just got to stay calm, just like John is being in the race in the races tonight.
And of course, John is such a great independent driver with a great independent team behind him. You can see how much he works on the details of those trucks, even down to the body. And of course, now we're talking about something
I love the
so
truck's
much more
design.
technical. And I think if any team can get this done, it's John Gordon and Bad Company.
You just have to make sure that the drive shaft is timed right. When you go to switch this out, you can see that they set the drive shaft on the ground, the new one going in. That's going to be a big, big factor. Just make sure that everything is lined up, all the bolts are right, ready to go, because you're in the biggest stage of your life right now. You got to make sure that everything is dialed in and make sure that you give yourself the best opportunity to win.
I'm sure we're going to get an update on Bad Company from either K Young or KCG coming up here in a moment, as soon as they can, certainly. I want to talk a little bit about Captain Murphy on Dragonoid, somebody who you said, you know, look, he's fast. Everybody knows how fast Captain is. He came in with that reputation, and he's continued to build it. But you also said, John, he's got something to prove in terms of Monster Jam World Finals.
Yeah, well, two names that are great that you just mentioned, but also Corey Rummel and Megalodon. You think about Corey Rummel, he has got the track dialed in. He's the only one in the field right now that is so confident that he's turning super sharp, pitching the truck in, and essentially backing the truck into the first corner. That might be an advantage for him because he has that spool front and rear, and it's so hard for him to turn. So it's giving him that advantage to get into the final a lot faster than a lot of other people.
I'm going to ask you one language on the spot just a little bit. Captain Murphy talking on Dragonoid fastest time, but in your mind, Morgan Hayes and nobody else is going to the most impressive driver.
He's smooth. I think that's the biggest thing that I noticed from Lori is that most of the time he'll come in and he gets in his own head. When you race him, you know that you just got to race your race because he's going to make a mistake. Tonight, he has not made mistakes, and it's going well for him going into the semifinals.
And last but not least, we got to talk about Earthshaker for a moment. Tristan England famously, when he first broke into the World Finals, maybe a little bit too big. The moment was a little too big for him. We saw last year he really settled in. How impressed are you with Tristan England?
I think with Tristan, he's got his family here. He knows what's on the line. It's a world championship, and for him, he's been wanting to race around his dad has the monster truck, and it's so cool to be able to see this. Tristan is dialed. If he stays in that red lane, he's got that final turn dialed in, and it seems too familiar, but the final turn is what's going to win the race. You got to make sure you're smooth, consistent, stay tight, and Tristan's been doing that all night.
We are down to the final four in the semifinals of the BKT Racing Championship, and it is going to be Megalodon's Corey Rummel in the red lane, taking on Captain Murphy, Bakugan Dragonoid in the blue lane for a chance to advance to the finals. They're moving into their respective starting lines now, and you can see part of that pro tree illuminated. Let's go, green!
That's a great pass by both drivers. No mistakes being made.
Morgan, what we're looking at on the video board right there for just a moment was Bad Company. If John Gordon is in the pits, that means he is not near the starting line, and that ain't great news.
That's not great news. And you think about, as a driver, you just want to be able to be at the starting line, give yourself a chance. But with the mechanical issues that you're seeing right here with the drive line, that's a tough break. But when the Monster Jam officials decide to start the time, that's when the crunch time really happens. That's when the crew chiefs, the full-on mechanics, technicians, everybody's jumping in. You see a lot of teamwork back there. Everyone's shouting out wrenches. Hey, hand me this wrench, hand me that socket. This is where teamwork really plays in, and the chemistry between your team is what matters.
And it is not subjective. Once Earthshaker gets to the line, then the 120-second clock will start. Not before. So if Earthshaker makes it to the line, that's when the the clock is going to officially start. But there's John Gordon himself turning wrenches, and again, to me as a layman, that is not a great sign of reaching or anything for.
Now, and you're seeing some tools that are in their hands right now that are not something that you want to see. You're seeing sawzalls out and hammers being all around. That might be an issue where you might have to cut the drive line out and start fresh.
And now it's really getting to the first drive. It just feels like the electrical drama unfold in real time as we get to see Earthshaker make his way up to the starting line. We're going to check in with K Young, who is in the back alongside Bad Company.
John, it looks like back here we still have the brand new drive shaft down on the ground. I know this is not the way you wanted to be here in World Finals racing.
You know, honestly, Kay, I figured like I was figuring the track out. That turn I just had against Brandon Benson was probably one of the smoothest turns all night. But right before all this started, me and my buddy Bryce Kay, we said a prayer up there that no matter what, win, lose, or draw, we're giving the glory to God tonight. You know what, man? We're out here, we're living our dream, we're having fun. We're gonna get this thing fixed, we're coming back to freestyle. It's not a drive shaft. If it was a drive shaft, my crew would have had it fixed by now. Along with all these other awesome people. It's a little bit more extensive of a repair. But we got time. We got some of the best guys there are back here. My guys, Matt and Fisher, they're on it. We're about to jam this thing out. We're coming back. We're coming for freestyle now.
Ladies and gentlemen, I mean, you heard it straight from the horse's mouth. John Gordon said there's no way we're going to get it done in time, which is why we pulled the clock down during that interview. And now a lot of drama has unfolded because the driver who gets to come back is the driver that Bad Company defeated. And that is the reigning racing world champion, Brandon Benson, to take on Tristan England for a chance to move on. So maybe we will see a repeat after all. They're on the line. Let's go. There's the times on the board, 20.802 for your winner. Earthshaker Tristan England is moving on. Morgan, if you're sitting there in the truck and you're Brandon Benson, you have an opportunity, a second chance to redeem. Are you thinking about any of that before you
That's one of the things that sets your mind, because when you lose in racing, you're already setting your sights. Starting line is jump right now. I don't want to be in the blue lane. Every time you take off from the blue lane, it's fishtails all the way down the straightaway, and you can't stay straight to be able to keep in the throttle non-stop.
Racing World Champion.
Coming up first, racing out of the red lane, three-time Arena Series champion from Paris, Texas, Tristan England, Earthshaker. His opponent, racing out of the blue lane, former Rookie of the Year, Rising Star of the Year from out of
Lane choice is key. But